Hey, good morning. It's Doug Smith. I'm broker owner DHS Realty. And today, 1 year ago, I decided to go out on my own and start my own brokerage firm. And today, a lot of thoughts are going through my mind. But one of them is back in 1994, December, when I got my license. I took my first real estate class November of 1989. But when I got licensed in December of 94, I remember going into an office. Back then, Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet, so we did have offices with frontage roads, which were really important. And of course now, in my opinion, they're not at all, because people don't go into an office, and even before COVID, they didn't. So I remember going in, and again, a bunch of old timers were in there, old guard, OGs, original gangster realtors, the older ones, and they would say things like this: all buyers are liars. And you've got a list to last, boy. You got a list to last. And half of them would say, listen to me, because I'm $1 million producer. And I was always like, damn, he's a millionaire. He must be doing things really good. I should shadow him. But then I started asking myself questions instead of just letting people tell me what they think was best for my life. And number one, all buyers are liars is a false statement. It's just that back in 94, every agent in Texas represented the seller. So most agents, not most, every agent had a buyer customer. And so obviously, if that's all you grew up with as clients, was sellers, you might have a belief that all buyers are liars. I love working with people. I think I have a good set of social skills that I was gifted by God. And I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. So I decided to list buyers. And I would do home buyer seminars, and I would get people to come, and I would lead with abundance, and they would end up wanting to work with me. I never told them I was $1 million producer or a $2 million producer. No one cared about that then, and especially nobody cares about it now. And that is part of the old guard belief that you need to post how much production you had, instead of telling how you led with value, how you took the road less traveled, and how you are a different agent, because you talk about resale, the backyard having eastern exposure, watering your foundation with a soaker hose, not soca, and having a sprinkler, getting a will, and things like that. So that was one of the myths that was perpetuated on me when I was a new agent, is all buyers were liars. And then you've got a list to last. And again, that's just not true. You can list buyers by saying that you want to work with them because it's more of a social event. About 95% of working with a buyer tenant is going to be social interaction. So, but the biggest myth was when you see that they're multi-million-dollar producers or $1 million producer. And I hear this a lot, like, well, I'm $1 million producer. If you don't join me, you suck. And realize that $1 million producer is almost in poverty in America. It means they made $30,000 a year on the best under a best case scenario, which is 3% of $1 million. And of course, all commissions are negotiable. But if they did make 3% of $1 million in production, they made $30,000. If they're with a firm that has splits, which we don't have, but most companies do, then they're going to pay 20% or 30 or 40% of that, which is anywhere from $6 to $8 grand of the 30 goes to the office. They've got to buy toilet paper and toiletries and eat dinner and get a Jiffy Lube oil change and maybe get a flat every once in a while, pay taxes. Their true net's about 12,000 to 18 grand. And you just need to know that that's not going to be a reason, in my opinion, to join a brokerage firm because people are bragging that they're $1 million producer, because you just simply won't be in real estate that long. And of course, if you're a multi-million-dollar producer and you had 2 million, you're a $2 million producer, that means you probably made about 50 grand, which you could also make as a manager at Whataburger, probably more, and have benefits. So just remember, freedom. Freedom is what you want, and that's also, freedom comes from knowledge, and knowledge comes from simply doing one thing, asking. And what I've always said in this company is that when you ask, I'll answer. And I've had multiple agents join over the last few weeks, and almost one of them, they've said that they haven't had support. I've logged into their Texas Real Estate zip forms with them. They have no templates made, no forms pre-filled. MLS hasn't been cleaned up, and they sit side by side with me, and we get that done day one. So remember, if you're looking at a company with no caps, no splits, and hopefully you know there's no BS over here, give us a shout out. Come to our training today. We're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. We have Maggiano's catering, and it's going to be at Truly Title, the best title company in DFW. They're at 2901 Dallas Parkway. Roxanne is a great closer. Navette, she's a great closer. And their owner, Graham Hanks, is incredible, visionary and entrepreneur, and I look up to him. So, again, 2901 Dallas Parkway. It's in between Park and Parker. It's going to be at noon. We're going to have crumble cookies, and we're going to have Maggiano's, and we're just going to chillax and do a little bit of impromptu training, and it'll be the last one of this year. We've had an incredible year. We post every day some type of training, but it will be the last in-person one, so try to make it. And if you're not with us, come visit us. Y'all be safe and go get some.